Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I am Tori Lynn. Let's blossom today. I am super excited to be doing this video today. For Christmas, I got some Pat McGrath makeup, and I have never tried his stuff before. I got an eyeshadow palette, a highlight palette, and 2 lip products. Now, I'm not going to lie, I have dabbled around a bit in the highlight and the eyeshadow palette, but I have not used the lip products at all. Like I said, got 2 lipsticks. They are 2 matte lipsticks. But I am super duper excited to do a makeup look with these today. As you can see, my base and stuff is not done, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just toss all that stuff on real fast because we're here, I know, for the Pat McGrath products, and I don't have any skin products of his. I just have, like I said, the eyeshadow, the highlight, and the lipsticks. So I'm going to go ahead and throw on some foundation and concealer and get my brows done and get to the point where I'll be ready to do my eyes. So I'm going to do all that and I'll be right back. So I'm going to quickly run through what I used real fast. I used my Maybelline Matte and Poreless Foundation in the shade 110. And then for concealer, I used, of course, my Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Porcelain Beige. And then to bake my under eye, I used my Coty Translucent Air Spun Powder. And then for my brows, where did I put that? I used my e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe. So let's go ahead and jump into the eyes. So I'm going to be using, of course, the Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette. This is the Mothership 9 Divine Rose 2 palette. This is the Artistry palette, actually. And I absolutely love the packaging of this. I think it's beautiful. That pink and gold, and I don't know, I just think it's stunning. And then I love the presentation of this, like the little, almost like binder twisty little envelope thing. And then it just flaps open. And I just think that's beautiful. And then on the back, it's got all kinds of information about each of the shades and stuff. And then the palette just comes out. Underneath the palette, it has this little card with all the shade names and some information about Pat McGrath Company. But then there's this palette, and this palette is so heavy duty. When I say heavy duty, I mean it's actually like heavy. It is thick. It's a solid palette. Like, this is made out of real metal, real material, real plastic. It's not like a lot of these that are like, you know, chintzy or plastic or cardboard. This is like real, legit, heavy-duty materials. It's beautiful. I still have the plastic protective sleeve thing over it just because, I don't know, I just don't want to take it off because it's so beautiful. And then you open it up and it's got mirror and then these really beautiful shades here. It has a lot of beautiful metallic-y shades. The one thing I don't absolutely love is that it only has 2 matte shades in the palette. It's got this really pretty plum shade and then this pretty peachy shade over here. They're both beautiful shades, don't get me wrong. I love the shades. I think they're gorgeous, but I just feel like it could have used one medium brown or a taupey color as a matte shade, or even a darker brown would have been nice for a matte shade. These colors are stunning. They're gorgeous. They're beautiful. I just feel like maybe they could have gotten rid of maybe one of these 2 purpley shimmery shades that are very, very similar and put in a matte brown. I like to have a brown because browns go with everything. They're great crease shades. You can do so much. They're so versatile with a brown. So if he could have gone with a medium brown or something, or another crease shade, I don't know. I just feel like he could have added something into this palette. There's a lot of things you could have taken out of here. So I have dabbled in this palette a few times. I used it on Christmas Day and on New Year's Eve. It also doesn't have a matte cream shade, so I'm going to go ahead and just I'm gonna grab my Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette because it's one I have sitting right here. And I'm gonna go in with the shade called Bay. It's the creamy white shade or vanilla shade. It's not really white, it's more of a vanilla shade. And I'm gonna set down my lids. I like to start my looks with a nice base most of the time. Not always, depends on what I'm doing, but today I think it'll just be nice to have a nice little base on my lid to start with, and it'll keep that concealer and makeup from creasing. So I'm going to start with that matte peachy shade in the palette, and I'm going to buff that right in the crease. Now these shades are really very pigmented. I mean, that was barely dipping in, and look how much pigment I got off that. The other thing is, I don't really have a lot of fallout on the face, but you usually get a lot of fallout in the palette itself, which I don't really love. I hate when my palettes get super messy. Now I'm going to step into that dark plum purpley shade. This is the other matte shade in the palette. And I'm going to work that right in the outer crease, right in the outer corner. Just want to add a little bit of depth in the eye look. See how pigmented that was? That was literally just one little like stipple into the shadow, one little dip in. And then I brushed it on with my normal hand, not too heavy. And that's how much pigment you get on there. Like, it really is just, they're very pigmented shadows. Now I'm going to take a good fluffy blending brush, and I'm just going to kind of blend those two shades together. Being that they are so pigmented, I want to kind of soften that darker purple shade up a bit. Staying in that little quadrant on that corner, I'm going to take this really pretty shimmery shade. It's got a little bit of a pink pearlescent to it. It's very gorgeous. I'll kind of give you a little swatch on my finger here, on the back of my hand. See, it's got that pink pearlescent-y shimmer. I think that's a really stunning shade, and there's so much pigment. That was just a little swoosh in the shadow, and then drug that down the back of my hand, and you can see how much shimmer, and it actually has a really strong coat on my hand. I'm going to use that, I think, on the lid. I think it'll look really pretty with these two colors, because I don't want to go too dark. I'm just not feeling like a super dark look today. I'm going to take a packing brush, and I'm going to pack that shadow on that lid. And the shadow's not going too bad with the brush. This might be one that does work better with the finger, so let's see. Honestly, I feel like I got pretty similar coverage from either way, so it's probably whatever you prefer. I don't really feel like it made a huge difference either way. I do know that I prefer to use a brush because I feel like I can get a little more precise. When I use my finger, I feel like I always get a little bit messier. Let me know if you have a preference to using your finger or a brush, or if you don't really care. I mean, there are some shadows that, yeah, you have to use your finger or you're just not going to get anything from it. And this worked really either way. I used to, of course, started with the brush and then just packed a little extra on with my finger. Looking in this palette, I'm going to jump to the other side, and I'm going to jump into this really pretty, almost a champagne-y shimmer. This is a little more of a glittery shimmer, and this I am just going to use my finger for. And I'm just going to pat that shade right over top of that other shimmer we just laid down. Wow, that is stunning. I love that shimmery shade, that second one we just put on. It is like a fine, really fine glitter. So it added just this really pretty sparkly sheen. I'm going to take my blending brush and just kind of blend softly between the shimmer and the matte shade in the crease, just to blend anything. Make sure there's no heavy, like, glittery chunks or anything laying around in there. I think that looks really pretty, almost kind of like a sunset vibe. I don't know what it is, but I have been really into using your shadow to create a faux liner the last like month or so. So I'm going to take a really small angled brush here, and I'm going to take that really dark plum shade that we used in the corner, and I'm going to kind of draw on a smoky eyeliner. Now if you wanted to go with something darker, you could go in with more like a black shadow. If you had green eyes, this shade would be absolutely stunning with green eyes. Would make your eyes pop. Or even hazel eyes would be really pretty. I also want to take that shade that we use, the really chunky glittery shade. I think I want to try that as an inner corner highlight. I don't really know why, but it's like just kind of screaming to me. I feel like it could be really stunning, or it might go, it's not as stunning as I had anticipated. And maybe because it's just that really fine glitter, but it is pretty. Wonder if the other shade would have looked better. Let's try. I'm going to try that more pearlescent shade that was on the other end and see if that makes a prettier inner corner highlight. It's not terrible. Neither one of them are like, wow, that was a beautiful highlight. Like, I definitely have products I prefer as an inner corner highlight over either of these. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw on some lashes, and I'm also going to finish off my skin. I'm going to set my skin, sweep away that baking, bronzer, blush up, and we'll come back and we'll do our highlight and our lips together because those are the other two Pat McGrath products that I own. So I'm going to finish all that and I will be right back, you guys. So just finished off my skin. I actually went and put on my highlight thinking I was filming and then realized I never hit record. So I'm going to just run through that with you guys. This is what the highlight looks like. It's absolutely stunning. This is the little box here. Really cute packaging. Very similar to the eyeshadow box, except for this, instead of being a wraparound, is actually an elastic little bungee here. It looks kind of like an old vintage newspaper. It also has a magnetic closure and the other one does not, but you just open it up. And you have these three beautiful highlight colors. The first time you open it, it's got this little plastic thing on it that's got the three names. It's got iridescent pink, fine gold, and bronze nectar. So I used the iridescent pink and the fine gold on my face today. And I used a jumbo kabuki from Crown. And I just did my cheekbones. And I wrapped it up around my temples and onto my forehead on both sides. I did a little on my nose. And then I also did my Cupid's bow and just a little on my chin for fun. I love this highlight just because it has such a natural glow, but it's still really, really strong. It still is a beaming highlight, but there's just something about how natural it looks. It looks like it's melted into the skin already. I love a strong highlight, one that really beams, but they don't usually look this natural. So this may become my new favorite highlight, even though I technically kind of mix the two. I mix iridescent pink and fine gold. I can't get over how natural it looks, especially when I'm turning my face. It has that true natural glow look to it, and I think it's just stunning. I am obsessed with it. I have used it pretty much every day I've done my makeup since I have gotten it, to be honest. I haven't used the eyeshadow palette every day, but I have used this highlight palette pretty much every day. I have not used the gold nectar just because that color is so dark. I just don't really know what I would use it for, except for maybe on an eye look. Could maybe use it on the eye, but it's way too dark for my skin tone. It's too shimmery to be a bronzer, and I just don't think that that highlight would work well for me. I'm sure one day we'll find a use for it maybe, but today I just mixed those other two lighter shades, and I think they are just stunning. Let's go ahead and move into the lips. I was literally just getting started on the lips and realized I never hit record. I have two matte lip shades. They are from the Matte Trance line. I have 451 Divine Romance and 449 Amour, and these are the boxes. They're absolutely stunning, very beautiful boxes. They're pink with gold. They have the gold little lips and of course his little information, and I just think they're really pretty. I love how these boxes just have this little like slip closure thing. It just slides into that little cutout there and it just fits so perfectly in there. But wait until you see the actual packaging of these lip tubes. They are stunning. Like, look at that. It's got like this solid gold looking heart there, and they're pink and gold with like little baby cherubs, and like it looks like something you would see in like a castle or like you'd find in somebody that's rich's house. Like, so stinking gorgeous. This shade is Amour. This is the lighter shade, and it's kind of a peachy nude shade. I think it's really, really pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch it on the back of my hand. Its formula is so soft and so creamy considering it's a matte cream lipstick instead of a liquid lipstick. And then this shade is Divine Romance. Of course, it's the same little lipstick tube, but this shade is a lot darker. This is a more of a mauve-y pink shade. I swatched them on the back. So I'm not really sure which shade I want to go with. I think normally I would go with that lighter pink shade, but I think I want to go and kind of do an ombre look, if that makes sense, just to kind of try both of those shades for you guys today. So I'm going to start with the Divine Romance. These shades are very pigmented right off the back. That's such a pigmented lipstick. The formula seems to be really soft. Typically with the matte cream lipsticks, they're a little more dry and tough on the lips, and this seems to be really, really soft and creamy, which is really nice. I am slightly in love with how good these feel on the lips, especially because my lips are feeling a little dry, and I was thinking, oh, I could really use some chapstick on my lips right now, and this feels so soft and actually really hydrating. I am very pleasantly surprised with the formula of this matte cream lipstick. So I'm going to take that other lipstick shade and I'm going to kind of ombre it just because this is a darker shade. And I want to lighten it up just a hair because that's what I like to do. I actually really like the color that those two lipsticks made together. I didn't end up really ombreing a whole lot. It mostly just ended up making a slightly lighter shade. But I honestly think that is a stunning shade. Oh, I can't get over how soft this formula feels. It's still a little bit wet looking though on the lips, and it does say it's matte, so I don't know if it's going to dry down. I'll kind of keep an eye on it as I'm kind of talking here, but overall, I really like the products that I got. Obviously, I've never tried any of his products before. These are my very first Pat McGrath products, but from what I've experienced today, I really like them and I would buy more, other than the fact that, yes, they are a little on the pricey side, but they are absolutely stunning. I love how the eyeshadows perform. They're very, very pigmented. The only two things I kind of don't love about the eyeshadow is that they are a little bit messy in the palette. I didn't really have any fallout on the face, which was really nice, but I did have a lot of fallout in the palette. I kept feeling like I had to blow that dust out of the palette in between like each use of the shades. And then I also don't love that there was no matte brown or other transition shade other than that kind of peachier shade, which is really pretty, but I don't want every look that I do with this to be an all purple and pink look. Yes, I know that's a lot of the colors in this palette, but I feel like I'm gonna have to dip into other palettes to make a lot of diverse looks from this, if that makes sense. I feel like with these shades, they are gorgeous, they're beautiful, but I can only make so many looks with these select shades. If I want to start making more diverse looks, if I want to really start, you know, making looks that aren't all purple and pink like this eye, then I'm going to have to start dipping into other palettes. So the look that I did for New Year's Eve, which if you want to see what that eye makeup looked like, go ahead and watch my FabFitFun unboxing. That makeup that I'm wearing in that video was my New Year's Eve makeup because I filmed that on New Year's Eve. But I dipped into a different palette to get the darker shade. I pretty much only use the shimmery shades on the lid in that look. So like you can use this palette to make some absolutely gorgeous looks, I think, but you're kind of limited on what you can do if you stick to this palette. You're going to be kind of stuck in that warm, pinky, purpley, you know, color tones if you stay in this palette alone. And so I do kind of wish that he would have given us another matte that was brown or even maybe a gray or something in a different color family to add to that. Just another matte would have been nice in there, to be honest. As far as the lipsticks go, loving the formula. The colors were both absolutely gorgeous, super pigmented. Love how they mix together. They mix together really well. They didn't really ombre, but that's probably because they're not liquid. They are cream, and I'm used to ombreing with liquid lipsticks, but they turned out to be really pretty. They are not drying down though. Not yet anyways. They are still a little bit glossy looking, so I'm a little confused about the matte trance. That is what it was called, matte trance, right? Yeah, matte trance. So little confused about what that means, considering that they're still a little bit glossy. You can see on my Cupid's bow area still, and on my lower lip, still very shiny, very glossy looking. Maybe they will dry down and maybe they just take a little while. And then the other thing I had was the highlight, and I am in love with this highlight. Like I said, I have used it every day that I've done my makeup since I've gotten it. This probably is going to be my new favorite highlight. There's just something about it, guys. Yes, this stuff is pricey, but it's also really good quality from what I have experienced in my little bit of time using it. I also love the way this makeup look turned out. It's very pretty. It's honestly a little bit springtime to me. It feels like flowers blooming, and we've got, you know, that pink and peachy and purpley. Just feels like spring to me. And now that Christmas is over and we're just in the dead of winter, I am so ready for spring and sunshine. I don't know about you guys, but after Christmas and New Year's and all the holidays, I'm over the cold weather. I'm ready for some warm and some sunshine and some springtime. So anyways, guys, I hope you like this video. Let me know what you think about this look down below. Have you guys tried any Pat McGrath makeup before? If so, let me know what you think about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up. That would mean so much to me. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.